Part of a way to help get towards financial freedom is making sure that you have all of your things in order.
I'm not selling people a house. I'm not changing the world. I'm not changing people's lives with a t-shirt, who knows. But I still have to take it serious because it's a legitimate business.
Financial Freedom with Mia D. Martin. I'm especially excited today to have Dr. O'Neill back for another episode. Thank you for coming today.
You are welcome, Mia, and I'm really excited to talk about the 25 common characteristics of successful entrepreneurs. That's why I'm back today.
I can't wait to hear more about it. Part of a way to help get towards financial freedom is making sure that you have all of your things in order if you're pursuing entrepreneurship and if you're a professional. So let's dive right in, Dr. O'Neill, and let's talk about what some of those 25 things are.
Well, the first thing entrepreneurs have to know is that it ties back into our show, financial freedom. God has given us all a gift that we can use, things that we can do with our hands to make money, okay? That is kingdom building when you use it correctly. And so how do we do that? We use what we have in our hand, like God told Moses, use what you have in your hand to make money. So the first thing is that you got to enjoy what you're doing.
Yes.
All right? I get hit, because I'm good with sales, I get hit with the, hey, can I talk to you about selling these vacuum cleaners? Or it could be a pyramid. Nah, that's not what I'm good at. I'm good with real estate, I'm good with writing, I'm good with entrepreneurship in general, but I can't sell a vacuum cleaner because I don't believe in the product. So the first thing you have to do is believe in the product and get your home business set up for whatever that product is. So in the beginning of COVID, I transformed my office again. So it's set up. I have studio equipment in there now. I have some of the same things, microphones, because I knew a lot of the teaching I was going to be doing was going to be done by Zoom.
Yes.
And so I bought more equipment so that I could use Bluetooth. You know, I use my iPads for other teleprompters. So get your home office set up properly.
Organized.
Organized.
Yes.
Do what you enjoy. Number 3, take what you do very, very seriously.
Yes.
A lot of us have part-time gigs, but we don't take it seriously, okay? For instance, in the pandemic, when it first started, and I'm creative, I used to sew for a living. That's how I made money all through college. And so I started cutting T-shirts. And I started posting them on Instagram, and lo and behold, I got an accidental business. I'm like, oh my God. And I can't shut that off because it's a real business now. And so I have a real problem now because I have to find people to run that business. I still like the creative part, but I have to find people to run that business. And I have to make sure that even though I'm not selling people a house, I'm not changing the world, I'm not changing people's lives with a t-shirt, who knows, but I still have to take it serious because it's a legitimate business, okay?
Yes.
The fourth thing we have to learn how to do is learn how to become your own expert.
Yes.
Okay, one of the things that I like about you, when I first met you, you were very descriptive at what you could do for my business. You know, I'm a marketing expert. I'm a SME, subject matter expert. I show people how to create content. I tell them about the importance of social media, etc. You know, and so become your own expert. Nobody else is going to toot you on the horn to do that.
And let's dive into that a little bit deeper, because I remember that day very vividly, and we've been friends ever since, and we've always had great entrepreneurial conversations and just great conversations in general. Now, the awesome thing about being in marketing and having a marketing agency was when I was given the opportunity to come in and do work with an insurance brokerage. And that brokerage is Genesis Asset Management Strategies Group. And when I was brought in, I ended up getting licensed as a producer myself. So initially, from a branding perspective, I was looking at, okay, now not only am I a subject matter expert in marketing, but now I also have this other expertise in insurance that I continue to develop daily. So I think I've had to pivot, as we always talk about, being able to pivot and think about the positioning of how I position my expertise as a consultant on both ends, right? And as a business owner on the marketing agency side and consulting side, and then being a producer broker on the insurance side.
And how do you sustain and grow that?
Right, absolutely.
Right.
So positioning is key, and making sure that you're letting people know what you do and how all these things go hand in hand.
Right.
And that's why I like what you do, because with the real estate portion of the business, it takes understanding of financial literacy behind that.
Yeah.
It takes infrastructure, it takes process, it takes design.
Right.
And you've designed a plethora of books,
Right.
workshops, and trainings that bring all of your learnings into a variety of different mediums for your audience to learn from. So let's just talk a little bit about the importance of not being afraid to do more than one thing, but taking ownership of actually how to position what it is you do.
Right. It takes planning. And so it takes shutting down, and I have a 2-week shutdown whenever I get an idea. Okay.
Yes,
That's
yes.
my 2-week shutdown. That means that I'm tunnel vision crazy. I'm like, just bring me snacks to eat. I'm not coming out the house. I'm not taking any appointments. But it takes planning, because you have to decide who your market is going to be.
Yes.
And how am I going to target that market? How do I get my foot in the door as a new entrant? Okay, there are other people, there are other great real estate agents. There are other great people who write books that are very successful. And so how do I get my foot in the door so that I can compete with them?
Right.
You know, or that people even notice my product. And so it takes planning and organization, all right? And so they can't see my book bag, but in my book bag, I have a paper journal, I have another short pad that I jot down ideas, and the trusty cell phone, okay? That all of those notes are in my cell phone.
Yes.
And so so you have to know where you're going, but you have to build that path. It's the GPS. It's the GPS for your business. You know, one of the other things that I have to make sure that I do is, in that, I have to make sure that that money stays managed wisely.
Yes.
Okay? When you're starting a new business, you need business credit. Nobody is going to give that to you. Okay?
have to build
You
it.
have to build the business credit. You have to, and then, sure, there are other loans and programs out there for sustainability, but nothing is there to help you start a business. One of the question I get at least once a week, is there grants for startup? No, there's not grants for startup. There are matching grants, but you got to have some skin in the game.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You have to have proof of concept oftentimes, even when you go about getting those grants. And
Right.
I've been blessed and in programs where I've received grants as a small business owner, but I wouldn't say it was in the startup phase. It was later
Right.
when I had kind of proven myself to the marketplace.
Right.
And that's why I also think having multiple revenue streams when you pursue entrepreneurship is key, because if you don't have a rich uncle, right, or some trust that's waiting there for you, then the reality is, if you're not going to keep your existing job,
Right.
then you have to have ways to continue to fuel your businesses.
That's right.
So when one's up and one's down, you got to fuel them back and forth.
Right, and that's where the planning come in, and that's where the accounting skills come in.
Yes.
You do not have to be in accounting, but you do need to have some processes in place to count your money.
Yes, bookkeeping.
The bookkeeping, that's the word.
Yes.
More than accounting, you do have to have some basic bookkeeping skills. You know.
And one thing I've always been grateful for is that I was fortunate enough from the beginning of my company up until now, I still have the same CPA, Timothy E. Brown, CPA, LLC.
Shout
Thank
out.
you. Shout out to Tim. But really, in all actuality, he's also a client of mine on the marketing side, which I'm extremely grateful for. But I'm also grateful for the CPA services that his firm provides, in addition to bookkeeping services that he provides to his clientele and more, because it really helps me make sure that I stay on track. And I don't think people realize, if you don't know where your business stands from a financial statements perspective and just financially overall, then you can't budget. You can't game plan.
That's right.
You can't go out and pay for marketing or advertising or events or materials if you don't know how much money you have coming in and what's going out, right?
Right. Another thing, Mia, is that I think entrepreneurs lose sight that it's all about the customer. Okay, some of them are so busy being the chief cook and bottle washer, meaning I'm doing the faxing, I'm taking out the trash, I'm doing the bookkeeping, till they're forgetting to do the demographic studies on who their customer is. And so
Right.
they're not changing when the customer base change, or they're not adding customers, just like we've talked, is how do I get into, okay, I'm a hit with the baby boomers, but I need to be a hit with the millennials too. How do I get millennials to know what I do, or how can I change what I offer so that they need my product,
Right.
you know? And so my advertising began to change, you know, the places where I network began to change, you know, and then ask for the sale.
Always ask for the sale.
Always ask for the
Yes,
sale.
always ask
So
for the
Mia,
sale.
role play. So Mia, if I'm able to increase your business by 30% with the marketing tools that I've just showed you, would you do business with me? I have a contract here, and you can sign up for 90 days, and we can test the market and see how that works.
I like that. I'm going to try that myself. That was pretty good. I'll play that recording
I
back
know,
and
I
listen.
know. People say, "Oh, I'm not good with that." You're kidding me? Are you an entrepreneur or what?
You have to be good with it
Yeah.
if you want to stay in business. You have to ask for the sale.
You have to be a shameless, obnoxious promoter of your
yourself.
business, yourself.
Yes.
That's right. And what's the best place? Where is the best place to do that? Social
Online.
media.
Yes, online.
Social media.
But one thing too is, even though this is what I always share with people, you do want to promote your business and you do want to promote yourself, but when you show people the problem that you solve for them,
Yeah.
and you know who your audience is, and you're doing that in front of your audience in a way that really resonates and connects with them, it's authentic.
Right.
And sometimes the sale really isn't that hard because
Right.
they're so organically drawn to you
Right.
and wanting to connect and stay following you and,
Right.
and seeing what you're sharing that they can use, that a lot of times they're coming to you with the sale ready
right.
to go. But don't be afraid of rejection, and don't be afraid to give that sale, right?
Right.
Because you're going to get rejected as an entrepreneur sometimes.
And it's very easy when you are always conscious of projecting a positive image.
Yes.
Okay, it's very easy. It makes people comfortable to come to you for a sale. Another thing that I learned through Rachel, another friend of ours, is that when I enter a room, don't go to what's comfortable. I learned that from her. You know, we enter a room in the party and we see somebody we like and we immediately walk over to them. Go to that person who you don't like and say, "Hi, I'm Dr. O'Neill. I'm new here.
Yes.
It's nice to meet you." Start that conversation.
Yes, yes.
You know, start that. You know, I count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going. You know, get your courage up.
Right,
You know?
right. And you have to step out of your comfort zone. And I think going into situations where you don't know someone, instead of just gravitating towards people you do know, or maybe you think you have more in common with, you would be shocked
Right.
to learn that oftentimes you may have found your new best friend, your
That's
new
right.
best client,
That's right.
your new best mentor.
Right.
So I think that was excellent advice, and I would definitely agree with it 100%.
And so how do we do that with COVID? So we level the playing field with technology. Clubhouse.
Yes.
I meet new people all the time. TikTok. I meet new people all the time. And so you say, what is that? Oh, I really don't do that. How can you afford not to? Not to. If you have a business right now, you're going to have to go with the trend. How are you going to network? How are you going to consistently draw in? You have to find new mediums. Nobody's reading the bus signs. Nobody's reading the bus stop advertisement. The grocery cart, we used to put our little advertisement on the grocery cart. We don't even pay attention to that. It was a waste of money, okay? Billboards is a hit and miss. Okay, and so the best way I leverage, plus I save a lot of money because all my advertising is free, is I leverage it through social media.
Yes,
you know,
I
and
do think
technology.
there's a very, just from a marketing perspective,
Yeah.
delicate background
Right.
and combination of always being able to leverage social media and digital marketing effectively,
Right.
but also balancing radio, TV, and billboard as well, because they can be very effective mediums if done correctly.
Right.
And if the right budget is put behind it and the right spend is put
Right.
behind it. But once again, it goes back to what you said before, and it's really knowing what your audience
Right.
is, where they can be found, and what they're looking for, right?
And it goes back to something you've been saying all along, but you didn't say it, is that building a top-notch business team.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
we talked about the accountant. We talked about my social media specialist. Okay, so you have to find what you need to help your business grow and build that team. Those are your players. They're on your team, and even though we're all in different places right now, that's what we need to keep our business successful.
Yes,
you know?
and if you are just starting out and you do not have the funding necessarily to put subject matter experts in place, then that's when you have to start networking to meet the type of entrepreneurial individuals that would be able to support your business and start thinking about how you can offer whatever it is that you offer to them in exchange for their support.
I was
so
getting
like
ready
a
to say it.
bartering type of system.
Right, I was getting
Yeah.
ready to say, and we do that all the time, all the
Yes.
time. How about creating a competitive advantage? So what do you get if you do business with me? What do
Right.
you get if you buy one of my books? Well, I have about 40 worksheets that I can give you to use in your classroom or your homeschool. You know, what do you get? We have to think about always creating competitive advantages, and those things differ.
Yes, and one thing that I think people should really think about on the entrepreneurial side is the fact that what are those differentiating factors, right, between you and your competition? So for me, there are a lot of fantastic marketers. There are a lot of great people in the insurance industry here in Atlanta. But what I look at are what are the differentiating factors between myself and those individuals, because sometimes those differentiating factors can build capacity. And what you can do is come together with your competitors where you may not be strong and they're stronger to build a team to address and take on larger projects. So I think being aware of who your competition is and being realistic about who it is too, even though we all have goals and dreams of, you know, competing against Fortune 10 companies in some cases and things of that nature. The reality is that our competition may be someone here locally. So get to know that person, get to know how they go about approaching their business, ask how you can support them and they can support you, because ultimately that's what you have to do to be successful, is build capacity.
Right.
Yeah.
I see them telling us that we got a break coming up, but before we break, I want to bring out another point. I know you're like me. I'm either teaching a class or I'm taking a class.
Right.
All
the time.
I cannot say how important it is to invest in yourself.
Yes.
Workshops, education, books, periodicals, news articles, podcasts. Yes. Investing in yourself. I
Training,
spend the money. All
consultants.
kind. Yes.
Pay other people for their expertise.
Yes. That's very important. And that's how we met.
Yes.
That's how we met, and that's how we continue to meet. We have think tanks that we belong to,
We do. It's a blessing.
Group of other women entrepreneurs that help us think, to help us grow, you know, and you're able to take those tools and put them right back into your business, and more importantly, help somebody else with them.
Yes. Well, we'll be back here soon. Stay tuned, and we'll be back with more great information for you.
You all know him, my boy, Will Smith.
His tone is a very conversational tone, and he has the ability to be a storyteller because he is a, actor. And so this book was more of a page turner.
I really enjoyed hearing and listening to him narrate the book. Also, I think it was a really great book because he was just so open and honest. And I mean, I don't think he really left anything out. I mean, he talked about everything in the book.
And I just want to throw this out there, that this is basically one of my favorite memoirs. And you know how I feel about the other book that I have read.
To Sofia and Gabriel. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love. These stitches and threads join us together. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
When will someone know that they need a coach?
If you're looking at your life and you're taking an evaluation of yourself and you're not happy with where you are and you can't seem to come up with what you need to do to become happy, then, you know, a life coach may be that individual that you need. Now, if you're just having a rut, just, you know, a week at a time, and you can kind of talk yourself out of it or you get over that, you may not necessarily need a life coach. But when you are really stuck and you've tried this and you tried that and it's not working for you and you just feel like you need more, then I definitely believe that a life coach would be someone that you can reach out to.
Welcome back to Financial Freedom with Mia D. Martin. And today we have Dr. Jeanette O'Neal. We were having a very great conversation about 25 steps to really keep us all in order as entrepreneurs and keep our financial freedom in order, right?
Right. I think that I should say that these are the conversations we have even when we're off air.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yes. These have to take place in order to have financial freedom and to be successful as an entrepreneur.
And it's funny, we never talk about the latest movie or the favorite restaurant. We're always talking about the same stuff,
Yes,
you know?
being successful and
Right.
how to go about doing it.
Right.
Yes.
And so one of the other things that I meet a lot of people who said, I'm not good with asking for the sale, or I'm not good with talking. I met a cook the other day. She was in my class. She has some of the largest city contracts in Atlanta, but she's not good with the negotiation part. She's shy, and that's fine. Hire somebody who can talk. Hire somebody who can negotiate the contracts for you, you know, because that's a big part of the business. You may be good with designing menus and the kitchen part. You need that other partner with you. And that comes down to sharing, you know?
And I think it comes back to being authentic and genuine with yourself and understanding where your strengths lie and understanding what you need to delegate out. And my advice to people when they first get started is to make a list of everything, every single little thing you have to do for your business. And then get your 3 different highlighters, highlight everything that you really enjoy doing, highlight the things you can tolerate, and then highlight the things that you really just either cannot do or you do not want to do at all.
Right.
And when you break it down in that manner and you're able to see what can be delegated out, it's going to make you free up time to be more effective and efficient. Right? And the reality is that we all aren't experts at everything.
Right.
So you're going to have to bring in those experts, those consultants, hire some type of individual in your company to pick up where you cannot deliver in that component of whatever it is that needs to get done.
Right. You said we cannot do it all.
Right, we can't do it all.
There are some ways that we can try, okay? And so one of the other points in the 25 common characteristics of successful entrepreneurs is designing your workplace for success. So for some of us, it's our car. So it could be having a digital printer that runs on batteries, your laptop. I have a big tablet, I have a little tablet. I have my cell phone. You know, I can pull up a contract, I can print the contract right from the car. Okay, and so it's important as entrepreneurs that you invest in the tools that you need to keep your business, not just make your business successful, but keep your business running successfully. Okay?
Yes, and smoothly.
Yeah, and
right?
smoothly.
Yes.
You know, I can be at dinner, and I've made it a rule not, you know, to have some off time, to have dinner undisturbed. But the other day, I needed to pull out a contract because I had made an error, and the contract was due to be signed by a client after dinner. You know what I did?
Corrected it on the spot.
I corrected the contract on
but
the
you
spot
had the
because the technology-
resources to be able to do it.
I had the resources to be
Yeah.
able to do it, which goes back to get and stay organized, which was one of the others. How about taking time off? We talked about work-life balance.
Taking time off.
Are you
yes.
working longer hours?
It depends
this
on the project. I think
yeah.
when COVID first hit, I worked 24/7 because I think we all just didn't know what to expect, and work was a way to distract yourself from the lack of clarity around what was going on. As an entrepreneur, I think you already know these hours aren't traditional.
Right.
And some days maybe 12, 14-hour days, whereas others maybe
That's right.
3-hour days. Or you may have a different location from where you're working from. And we were talking about that, right? It could be an office or it could be the beach.
At the beach, right. And so it's very, very important to pencil in that time off. As entrepreneurs, time gets away from us. Working at, I don't know why employers don't want you to come back to the office, because we're actually working and being more productive at home.
I agree.
And we're able to get a lot of things done. At the same time is that we're spending 14 hours, most of us, at the desk.
Yes.
Okay, and so what I do and what I tell other entrepreneurs to do, small business owners, is pencil in advance that day off or that half day off, because most of us are working 60 to 80 hours a week. And that's very important, to work-life balance. You need your mind clear to think of more creative ways to grow your business.
Yes.
Not to mention, you need to not be a bad friend, a bad spouse, a bad girlfriend, boyfriend, etc. You know?
Right. You have to have a life for yourself.
Right. Limit the hats you wear. Okay. And so with COVID, at first, we like, okay, what do? I get to explore my creative side.
Right. I'm going to become a chef and a painter in addition to my business.
And so now we see that this is our new normal. And now we have to pivot again. And it's time to narrow the focus. So there are certain things that I do very well, but I can't do them all well at the same time. And so narrow my focus. And so my preach to entrepreneurs is that most of us are right-brained individuals. That's what entrepreneurism is. But you're going to have to narrow your focus and decide if you're going to bring in the additional streams of income. Then we have to prioritize. What brings us in the most money with the least amount of stress? What is more cost-effective that particular month or that particular season to push? Okay. During Mardi Gras, the custom tee shop made a lot of money because we printed Mardi Gras shirts. Okay. Now, the next season is not come up yet. All right. So that's the season of rest. So let me promote my books now.
Right.
Okay. Because summertime is coming. People are thinking about, what am I going to do with my kids for homeschooling? Okay. And that's just an example of how people can shift or pivot, you know?
Yes, that's great.
Follow up.
Yes, follow up is key.
If you just follow up on the people that you meet, soft text, hi, it was nice meeting you, you know, do you mind if I call you and we can set up a lunch, or we can set up another time to talk about our businesses and what we have to offer? Perhaps there's an opportunity for us to work together. That's a soft text.
Yes.
You know, follow up constantly. And then follow up, send them another text the next month. Hey, I'm running a special. It's 25% off next Friday. Just wanted to let you know and remember me. I'm providing a link. Follow up. Hey, it was nice meeting you today. You know, here's my contact information. I'm looking forward to talking to you again. You'll be surprised with follow up. You know that as a marketing rep.
Staying top of mind is key, and doing those soft touch points and check-ins really helps you do that. As well as being able to create content that really resonates with your audience online. That's another way to kind of check in with them, because aside from the individual texts and messages and calls and emails, when you're producing content that they can use, that's another check-in point or touch point for them. So I think that follow-up is necessary if you want to continue to grow your business. Right.
I think that Mia, this is the season to celebrate curiosity. The entrepreneurs are some of the smartest people in the world, but a lot of them have a lot of stuff tucked in that they are scared to bring out to the world. You know, I met somebody the other day who has established a business just with teaching college students how to fill out the FAFSA.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I know I would pay somebody. I would have paid somebody when my kids was in college, because it takes me an hour. It's too much legal jumble. It looks too hard on the computer. And I'm like, oh my God, oh, I can't do this. And so I waited till the last minute every time. And so that's an easy business somebody just thought of.
Yeah, all you have to do really is solve a problem, identify a pain point, and it may be something that you think is small, but to your point, how many other parents wouldn't want to take the time out because it's just something that they do not do on a regular basis that takes a significant amount of time, when you have a person who's an expert in that space that you can pay, that will move through the process very quickly, because this is something they do on a day-to-day basis, the same way you do your business on a day-to-day basis. And that's where we have to, as entrepreneurs, support one another, right? And recognize what we can delegate to help support other people and also give us our time back, right?
And one of the last things I want to point out to entrepreneurs is get and stay legitimate.
Yes.
That is very important, okay? Don't forget to, every year, in most states it's every year, fill out those Secretary of State forms to keep your business current.
Yes.
Most of the time the renewal is $25 to $75. Don't let that expire. Other people are looking up your business, and if they see that you're not current with the Secretary of State, you may lose out on some business.
Yeah,
okay?
same thing with your certifications.
Your
too.
certifications, right.
Yes.
Right. Having those initials behind your name, people need to be able to go into a database and be able to find you. That's very important.
Yes.
You know, if you need operational license, or you need to stay up on that. If you owe city taxes, you need to stay up on that.
Yes.
You know, and so that's where the accounting comes in. And it may be hard for small entrepreneurs, but you can build that into your calendar, right in your phone, and set off a little alarm. Oh, 10 days before I have to submit the sales tax to the city of DeKalb.
Right. But you have to do it.
Right.
You have to hold yourself accountable so that you can be successful and not put yourself in situations where you owe back taxes or you owe different fees that are associated with setting things up late. So you have to really stay organized, or once again, bring someone in that's going to help do that for you.
Right.
Yes.
So once again, I like to say to our audiences, this is how we met, and this is what we do on a regular basis. We coach businesses to self-sufficiency.
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
We help them through social media marketing, through business planning,
Insurance, protection,
protection, taxes. Insurance is a whole nother, oh my God.
Yes, insurance, and we could have a whole nother show about that, and we will, but for those who are watching on the entrepreneurial side and the professional side, for me, when I got into the industry, I didn't recognize how many different products that were out there to really help business owners secure a really good future, and just ways to protect themselves and their families.
Right.
For example, if you were to get, Lord forbid, a critical illness or a chronic illness, right? Thinking about affordable options like term with living benefits.
Flood insurance, interruption of business insurance.
If you become disabled, I mean, these are all things you have to be realistic about, because if something happens to you and you're the person who runs the business, then who's going to take care of your family, or how will your mortgage be paid?
That is right.
How will your hospital bills and things like that be paid? And like I said, we can have a whole nother episode about that, and we will. I cannot thank you enough for being here today, Dr. O'Neal. It's always a pleasure. Thank you for coming to share your expertise.
Thank you.
Hopefully we get to have you back again.
Right. I want to tell everybody to look for me on social media. I'm on everything. TikTok, Snapchat, Pinterest, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, all under Danette O'Neal, or you can go to DanetteO'Neal.com. And you'll find all of this information and more, worksheets that you can download. I have a wonderful presentation about what we did that expands this. I'll put a Google link on there where you can download that also.
Thank you so much for sharing. And if you want to find me on